Good evening, good afternoon, good morning from wherever you are watching here in the Philippines and from all over the world. And welcome to my podcast, the RJ Ledesma Podcast. Again, thanks so much, all of you, for joining me on this lovely Tuesday evening over here on the podcast. On the RJ Ledesma Podcast, I interview the country's pioneering business personalities and entrepreneurs to learn more about how they think about doing business, what are their success secrets, and can we hack or reapply their success secrets as well? How have they innovated their businesses? How have they changed their businesses during this new normal? And what opportunities do they see emerging in the next normal? Now, is there a business personality or entrepreneur that you would like me to interview here on the podcast? Please do let me know. I would love to learn from them. Just drop me a message. We are also live right now on Kumu, CBRC TV, Global Pinas TV, and the Bounce Back Network. And if you are learning a lot from the podcast, please do subscribe and invite more friends to listen to the RJ Ledesma Podcast. We are live every Tuesday on Thursday on Facebook, and you can also find us on Spotify, Google, and Apple Podcasts. Tonight, a very special guest. All my guests, of course, like I say, are special, but this one is like my partner in crime. We both work together as hosts for One News. He's a very good friend. We've done many talks together. He is a life and wealth coach. He's helped me, actually. He's also helped a lot my own family with our own wealth journey. He's also a motivational speaker, radio, TV, and social media personality. Ito, best-selling author, financial educator, and entrepreneur. He's known as Mr. Chink Positive. He speaks about money, mindset, and success. His vision is to help people become financially literate and debt-free. Now, let's learn more about an upcoming seminar he'll be giving. And at the same time, let's learn more about his own entrepreneurial journey, especially his journey right now during the new normal. Please welcome my good friend, Mr. Chinkee Tan.
Yes! Hi there, RJ Ledesma. Grabe. My idol and someone that I really look up to ever since I was young. I've been watching his commercials and the reason why I really look up to you because you're taller than me, right?
Ikaw yung unang guest ko na may dalang soundtrack. Yan, may laugh
Oo
track. So,
naman.
maraming salamat. Yan yung tamang-tama.
Siyempre, the whole package. And then, you know what? Before we start, for people who's listening to this podcast and been following this, I can safely say, not to brag and really probably just give more credit to RJ. RJ is really a treasure, no? A treasure for all of us, especially as you know. Sometimes we just tend to underestimate the probably the gifting and the contribution that the one person can really give. But RJ, you're really such an encouragement to a lot of entrepreneurs or entrepreneurs, specifically on your area, because you have been so generous with your ideas and trying to really also promote the idea of being self-employed and start their own business. That's the reason why I really have my hats off to you.
Oh, thanks so much, Idol. And my hat's off to you as well. I've learned so much from you. And can I just share this one time? And guys, this is why I'm so inspired by Chinkee as well. Because there was one time in my house, I remember my yaya, the yaya of my youngest boy, was being asked to invest money in some sort of investment scheme. And it was hard for me uh, to convince her to do differently, right? So what I realized was that she listens to your show very regularly. She listens
Mm.
to it, to gain financial knowledge. And I remember that you took time out to explain to her that what she was doing might not be a safe investment. Do you recall that conversation we had,
Of
Chinky, about
course,
what you
of
told her?
course.
Please share with the people here because that was very relevant for me because syempre all of us are saying now, let's enter this scheme kasi 8,000 pesos lang yan. All you have to do is recruit X number of
Y-
people. And she was so
Yeah.
enthused about it. And I know how hard earned her money is. And
Yeah.
that's why I was so worried when she was going to invest. And you gave time to talk to her. That's what I thought was she was so like, parang, Chiki, tan kinakausap ko? But she was so happy that you were talking to her.
You know what, RJ, and people who are listening right now, the reason why me and RJ are doing this is not only because just to be known or probably just to tell people that we know better, but you know what? For us, this is really a calling. This is really a purpose. And in other words, me hugot specifically on my end, I hugot later. Probably I'll share to you my personal story. But I know there are a lot of people who used to be like me, who was poor, broke, and uneducated about finances. But again, I came from the school of hard knocks and learned on how to become successful in handling my money. But I know there are a lot of people who are just like, yun nga, yung house help nyo, na who really needs help talaga. And for me, it's so unfair. I don't want to say na parang ano lang to, publicity lang to.
Mhm,
But I
mhm.
really take time. I really take to answer all of my messages at the same time for people who want my time. If I can give my time, definitely I'll be generous with my time.
Yeah, and having said that, Chinky, can you share with them what you actually told Mayaya? Because that one has really impacted her. What did you say? How can you evaluate whether what's being offered to you is a legitimate or not legitimate or a shady type of investment to make?
Yeah, before the investment part, probably you just need to ask, since the first time you're going to invest in a business or in an opportunity. Number one, I always tell people, you invest the amount of money you can afford to lose. With the 8,000 pesos that she's going to invest, that's almost 1 month of her salary. And it's too
Mm-mm.
much. That's number one. Number two, you invest in something that you understand. And when I asked her, when I was probing, she doesn't really understand what she's getting into. She was just excited about the project, and I told her excitement will not really make you successful, but knowing, like for example, you're excited to know to drive a car, but if you don't know how to drive a car, when you drive a car, you will meet an accident. And likewise, if you're excited about the business but not knowing what are the commitments or what's the commitment and what's the time that you need to invest in order for you to make it, it will spell also as a disaster. And the third thing, I also asked her, do you really have the time to really promote the products, and not only promote the products but really build an organization? And basically for based on those four questions, she answered no. So definitely I told her that you are not qualified for this project.
And having said that, no, and I know we're going to be discussing this a bit later on. What do you recommend? And this might be jumping the gun for you. So for somebody like that one, starting off, no knowledge, where should they start putting a bit of their money so that they can see it grow? Because that's why I want to encourage you also as well. That advocacy ko, that's what I'm hoping that people like my house help, people like the drivers, they put their money into a place where their money can be invested wisely.
Yeah, when it comes to investment, probably the best investment that you and I and anyone can make, so first is to invest in yourself, in
Mhm.
oneself, invest in financial education. Because even I always tell people, people often say, I cannot start my own business because I don't have capital. Even you have all the capital in the world, but if you do not know what to do with the money, your money is worthless and useless. Do you agree? But
Agree.
even though you don't have much money, but if you know what to do, kahit na wala kang kapera-pera eh, 'di ba? Magkakapera ka. Kaya I always tell people, money can never really create money, but it's ideas that can help you to make money. Kaya kailangan mag-aral ka talaga. You got to educate yourself. And then once you're educated already, and that's the time you start starting business or you invest. So again, a reminder, never invest in something that you do not understand, whether it's business or any type of investment.
Perfect. And having said that, like you said, now for you and me, teaching people about business or financial literacy is actually an advocacy for that one. This coming weekend, you actually have a great program to teach people about investment. Share with us a bit more about what's coming
Yeah,
up.
this coming February 19, that will be on Saturday from 2 p.m. to 7 p.m. We're going to have a business conference to really equip and teach people on how to start their enterprise so that they can avoid mistakes rather than making them. So, number one, if you want to learn about franchising, we have invited definitely the top franchise company in the Philippines, which is Potato Corner by Joe Magsaysay. If you want to learn about business, starting your own business, especially the food business, who do you call? Definitely si RJ. He'll be talking
Ah,
about how he
good
started
job.
Mercato and all those ideas. And number three, if you want to start an online business is really the way of the now, not only the future. We have invited Steve C of Great Deals. He's considered as the
Wow,
Alibaba of the Philippines.
that's
And
right.
he's going to share his also expertise. And number four, we have also invited someone to inspire us with regards to his personal life from success to failure, then failure to success. No other than Mr. Berwin Mailey, as we all
Mervyn
know.
Maley.
Yes, he was a comedian or he's still a comedian, and then from being a comedian, lost his business, lost his career, lost his house, and right now he was able to bounce back by establishing his own business. So this will be a full pack session, and not only that, we're going to talk also about taxation, automation, online delivery. So we invited also partners to really teach us about finance, business. So if any one of you is interested, all you need to do is just go to my Instagram account after this broadcast and Instagram me, DM me, and type business, and I will send you a link where you can enroll. And FYI, this is a paid webinar. This is not for free. Why? Because we are targeting people who are only serious. And as you all know, every time when it's free, nobody comes.
That's right. That's right. Or they take it for granted, because there's no value that they put into it.
Exactly.
Oh. But having said that, Chinky, I hope you don't mind. Not that I know that you've seen all the speeches and the presentations and the talks already here right now. But can you give us a little preview of what we can expect to see for business for everyone on this coming lecture? What were the key points that you learned from, I guess, from the franchising, from the digital, and from the other speakers? How about Jomag? What did you pick up from his talk in light of
Yeah.
what we also
Well,
see?
yeah. Basically, I saw about the principles that he actually how he started the franchise business of Potato Corner. So he was sharing his personal actually story, and what's more powerful with Joe Mag was not actually his skill in teaching, but his experience and how he was able to really make it in simple layman's term. And I do believe even probably a family driver can really understand what he's talking about. And likewise, especially on your end, when I was reviewing the video already, it also talks about the attitude and the mindset of an entrepreneur. Because I do believe the success of a business starts on how a person think. If you think you can, you are right. If you think you cannot, you are also right. And 90% of the people cannot start their own business because they have the fear of rejection, fear of failure, fear of the unknown. But with your content, I do believe it will help people to overcome fear. And on the third part, definitely online thing. Steve C of Great Deals will also share how he was able to overcome. Did you know that he was almost in 20 to 30 million pesos in debt before he started
Mm,
Great Deals? So,
wow.
so it was an amazing story. How was he able to bounce back also, and then started from a small room, and he was able to grow and capitalize on e-commerce. And one thing that really actually caught my attention when he was talking during the recording was he said a traditional setup you can open your shop from only probably 9 to 9 or 10 to 10. But with e-commerce, your shop is open 24/7. 24/7. And then once you expand a business in another location, you have to pay for another capex and opex,
That's
which you
right. That's right.
experience. But with online, you don't have to pay anything. You just open one virtual shop and you will be able to serve the worldwide and nationwide. It's really amazing. And definitely the last part, we will also teach you on how you can cope with failure. Because again, in business, failure is unavoidable. And we have our own shares, me and RJ, but the important thing is how you fail forward, not backward. And the goal in life is not for you to not to be afraid of making mistakes. The goal in life is for you to learn from it. And very important, never be afraid of going slow, but be afraid when you are standing still.
That's the big one. That I had to stop a bit and realize that one because, you know, it doesn't matter how long you've been an entrepreneur. It's still scary, no, Cheeky. I mean,
Mm-mm.
you know,
And it,
and there's not. Please go ahead. Oh,
yeah, anything that is new. Kahit na ano ka na, batikan ka na, kahit na even the tycoons, 'di ba? They are still they have still concern, especially when they are trekking a new industry and a new field.
oh. And then Cheeky, kasi usually, di ba? I want that failure because that resonates with a lot of Pinoys. Eh. Or you know, when they think about failure, parang pag ayokong pumasok sa negosyo kasi baka pumalpak ako or baka mag-fail yan. And then, it's not always so much that they lose money, which of course is very important, but it's also parang they lose face. Eh. Parang feeling ko, if
Hmm.
I lose face. Eh. Parang, it's me, I'm a failure as a person kasi bumagsak yung negosyo ko. What can you say about that one?
Failure is not a person, but failure is a one-day event. Whenever you fail, one thing that I've learned about failure, it doesn't really matter how many times you fail. What really matters is how many times you pick yourself up. Yours truly, number one, and never finished a college degree. I've never had a diploma. And number two, when I was at grade six, I don't know if you're aware of this, I became the first and last summa cum laude at my campus when I was at grade six.
Because
Because I failed grade six 4 times. I mastered it. No, seriously, I failed grade six 4 times. And people look at me as a failure during that time. My relatives look at me as a failure. My classmates look at me as a failure. That's the reason why most of them cannot believe what I'm doing right now because they know my background and they know my past. But again, praise be to God and blessing. The one thing I've learned, it doesn't really matter how many times you fail. What really matters is how many times you pick yourself up. You may fail 4 times in life, but if you pick yourself 5 times, you can be considered as a winner. You failed once and you lie down forever, you'll be a forever loser. So I just want to encourage you, especially if you're listening to this podcast right now and you're experiencing a lot of rejection, failures in sales, in your business, in your insurance business, real estate business, direct selling business. You know what? Just don't stop. All you need to do is just find yourself. One day you'll be able to discover your calling, your gifting. Always remember, quitters never win and winners never quit.
that's really great, Chicky. And this is, I think this is very important as we raise that you're raising different types of businesses, especially diba, we're taught to hustle, diba? As
Mm,
entrepreneurs, you're hustling, you're looking for a lot of side businesses. Sanay dyan yung ating mga raketera, diba? Raketista, they try to look for different businesses which they can do. Like Steve C, nag-insurance siya noon bago siya pumasok sa ano,
mm,
diba? Kasi sabi niya sa akin, insurance, yung capital mo na dyan laway eh. So
tama.
you don't really put money out. But sometimes they're doing so many different things that are rocket oriented. They're not too sure which one to go to or which one they should be in. Chiki, what's your advice for those type of people? Parang, you know, they're like you. They're hustling, but they can't seem to find what's the right one. Is it because like real estate, di ba? Parang laway rin yan. Insurance, laway rin yan. All these different selling is network selling. That's a lot of just a lot of saliva capital, as I would call it. How do they know what's the right one for them usually, or where do they eventually stop?
I think you should really go back to where you started, right from day one, when you were still young. You ask yourself, what are you good at? And what do you enjoy doing when people are probably hate doing? For me, I can still remember, really love to help people ever since I was young. I love to volunteer. I love really when people are having a problem or probably I can still remember there was a fire in Tondo. And I really help, even though I don't know them, I help them try to move their things. So it has been innate in me to help people. That's the reason why, like, selling is helping other people to solve their problems also, just finding a solution to their problem. That's the reason why ever since I was young, age 12, I was already in sales. And then it came to my full knowledge when I transitioned in speaking and writing in 2008. And Francis Kong asked me, what do you really love to do? Even if people are not going to pay you for what you're doing, what is one thing that you want to do? And I told Francis, really, I want to help people. Specifically, I want to help them with their finances. Well, that's what you need to do. So I found myself writing books about finances and with the vision to help people to become wealthy and debt free. And this is what I've realized and discovered. As you all know, as you discover your purpose and you love what you're doing, and the important thing is this: find something that you love to do in your life, even if people are not going to pay you. You're still willing to do it for free. And for me, and for you probably, this is one thing that I love to do. And but the good thing is this: just like Michael Jordan, just like Stephen Curry, they love to play basketball. Just like Tiger Woods, he loves to play golf. Just like Manny Pacquiao, just likes the sport of boxing. Even if people do not pay them, they're willing to do it for free. However, since they are the best at what they're doing right now, they can name their price. That's one thing I discovered. Do not do it for money, guys. If you want to become wealthy and rich, probably RJ can attest to this. If your pursuit in life is money, the more you run after money, the more money will run away from you. And that's what I did before. However, I discovered if I become the best at what I'm called in my purpose in life, if I'm the best, now I can name my price. And finally, probably just to give meaning to what we're doing right now, knowing your purpose gives you direction. Maximizing your purpose can help you to become the best so that you can get the best offer. But you know what's more important? Giving and sharing away your calling and purpose will give you meaning in life. So the reason why, despite of a long day right now, as a matter of fact, I did 8 recordings today prior to
Wow.
this. Yes, 8 recordings prior to this. Even though I'm tired already, but still, I love to do this because I know this is a calling. And whenever I inspire hope to other people, it also inspires hope in me that I have a purpose in this world.
Thanks so much, and thank you for the time here, Chiki. I know exactly how it feels. Also, sometimes when I do this podcast, and then people send me a message, "Hey RJ, I really like to listen to your podcast." Siyempre, ganda si Ego, but it's more like I learned so much from it, and that's what I want to hear from them. I learned so much from listening to it and from what you do, and I'm very thankful that you're here right now, sharing this one and helping pay it forward. In fact, I just want to thank people here who are enjoying our podcast here right now. Denise Michelle Legaspi, more power po, Sir RJ and Sir Chinkee over there. At the same time, we've got Marilu Galvez watching all the way from Balagtas, Bulacan, saying more power, Sir Chinky and Sir RJ. And Eric Ronald Pagdanganan, agreeing with you. The more you go after money, the more it runs away from you. Completely agree. At ito, Boss Chinky, mayaman to. Medyo big
Hmm.
time to sa real estate. Si Sir Boss Edwin Bina Calamba. Nice topic, Boss RJ. He's a big real estate developer over there in Luzon. And we also watching all the way from Malaysia. Chams watching from Malaysia. And Luling Ning Martinez. Thank you, Sir Chinky and Sir Ledesma. Now, having said all this one, I want to move on to another topic, Chinky. I don't mind. Later on, we'll talk a bit more
Go.
about your entrepreneurial history. But this one, I guess it's this pandemic time. We've been in this 2 years, and there were some initial mistakes that we all made. You made, we made when we were trying to adjust to this time with regard to our finances, with regard to being entrepreneurs. But there's been time for us to actually adjust and to operate in these times of uncertainty. What have you learned about, I guess, financial literacy and investment and entrepreneurship during this time of the pandemic?
There are two major things that I probably discovered and learned in helping other people with their finance. Number one is for almost 2.5 years we hardly ate out, bought new pair of clothes, hardly traveled, and it's a miracle we're all still alive and kicking. So in other words, what I'm trying to say and communicate that all of us can really live off the basic, live in simplicity, but not in duplicity. And without us realizing that, again, the one that really makes our finances more difficult and challenging is not because of the economy, high prices, it's because of the lifestyle that we choose to make.
Mm-hmm.
So right now, because of the community quarantine lockdown, we hardly again was able to do the things that we used to do. That's number one. And the second thing that I discovered is you and I, guys, cannot afford to live only on one source of income. Why? The moment your one source of income gets affected, whether you're in business, whether you're in employment, you're in one industry, you're going to be in big trouble. And I'm sure RJ have experienced that also. That's the reason why it's very important that you need to learn how to diversify. And the word called diversification doesn't only first apply in investment, but it must first be applied in cash flow. When I say cash
Mm-hmm.
flow, you need to have a multiple sources of income from multiple sources of industry. Just in case one industry goes down, you can have another source of income. Oh, but why don't we challenge ourselves and ask ourselves, name me one billionaire RJ that has only one source of income and belong to one industry? Wala, di ba? So
Wala.
they have multiple. So that's on the side of the when about personal finance. But in terms of my personal business and operation, how this pandemic really changed everything. I'm really so thankful and grateful that we did not really actually felt the transition. I'll explain why. Because
Mm-hmm.
9 years ago, we are already on a work from home setup. Why? Because of the traffic situation here in Metro Manila. Normally, my employee will spend at least 4 hours a day. That's around 20 days in a month. That's around four. That's 80 hours. That's 3 days in a month. That's 1 month in a year. You're stuck in the car and traffic. And I said it's unproductive time. So we made a decision to really do a work from home setup 9 years ago. So
Wow.
we really never transition. That's number one. And the second thing was I'm really so thankful and grateful. Again, I was not predicting about the pandemic, but as a communicator, you know this, we are only good as our last talk, as our last call slip, as our last invitation. The
Exactly.
moment we stop talking, we stop earning. And I was telling myself in the year 2000, I think 2015, 2017, I cannot really consistently do this for a long time. And then, there are days that you need to have 2 to 3 events and then you have to go from one place to the other. You have to travel from Cebu to Davao to Bacolod. It's so crazy. I cannot really sustain this. And I was praying how I hope that I can still continually to earn royalty income based on the work that I have done in the past. That's the
Mm-hmm.
reason
Mm-hmm.
why we have released our online course in 2018. It's called chinktv.com. It's considered as the Netflix of financial education. So it helps to equip and empower every Filipino to learn how to save, how to budget, how to get out of debt and invest. So that's the reason why when the pandemic hit, it never really affected us because we have already the online factor that can also serve the people who wants to learn online.
And I think that what we need to emphasize as well is that it's a what he was doing was while he was going online was to create a recurring source of income online. And that's the great thing about Chinkee. I mean, one of the great learnings about doing online businesses, especially content businesses like yours, is the recurring income from subscription and sponsorship. Can you share a bit more about with us how the model works? Because this is very interesting for people who are thinking of doing what your content management or what you do, where you sell content or where you market content.
Yeah, it's very important that if you want really to sell something, anyone, I do believe, can sell. Anyone can teach. Anyone can really create their own content. As long as you follow the three things. Number one, again, you know yourself. That's the most important thing. You know your strength. You do something based on your strength, not on your weaknesses. Number two, you must know also your target market, the target market you want to reach. And then number three, you must understand their pain point. You got to know their pain point. So what's really bothering them? What's their problem? And definitely, my strength is about finances. I teach people on how to create, handle, grow, and protect money. Number two, my target market are people who are stressed with money. And then number three, I want to help them on how to save, how to budget, how to get out of debt and invest. So it's pretty clear on my end. And then once you have already developed and then know yourself, your content, the target market, the next thing that you need to do is you need to again uh, create quality content because you need to offer value. It's not because something that you read from the book. It's something you must. It's important for you to live it. And the difference probably between RJ and some other speakers, which I've noticed, he is not a teacher, but he is a practitioner. No offense meant to other teachers. Some teachers teaches, but they never practice business. So sometimes there's a disconnect. Okay, so it's very important that you need to practice. And then number two, you need to learn also to you need to learn also how to connect with your target audience. How can they relate with you? That's the most second important thing. And third, you need to be consistent in producing content. Just to give you a perspective, yes, we started slow, but did you know that right now we're delivering daily contents on Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok as of the moment? And these are brand new contents on a daily basis on top
Wow,
of my
nakakapagod
daily
yan. Wow.
yeah, on top of my daily show Monday to Friday and then every Sunday, on top of my speaking engagement, on top of my guestings, on top of writing for newspapers, and on top of writing my own personal books. That's the reason why again, this is a career for me because I know there are a lot of people who's really depending on the content that we provide on a daily basis.
Wow,
So because
Chinky.
of that, yeah, so because of that, by the grace of God, we're able to monetize. And some people, I just want to raise this. And some people ask, Chinky, why do you charge in your event? Why do you when you sell books, why do you charge? When you talk, why do you charge? You know why? Because I have over 60 employees as of this moment. And for people who are asking, why am I charging? Okay, I will stop charging if you are willing to work for me for free. If I don't have any overhead costs, I will not charge. However, I have to pay 60 employees. That's the reason why we charge to because this is a business. I just like to also rephrase probably what you mentioned. For me, this is not an advocacy. I hope you understand because
Mhm.
I'm charging money. This is a business. This is a profession. This is a career. When you say advocacy, because definitely you don't charge, you don't make money out of it. Since we are making money out of this, and I want to be upfront, and the reason why we have to make money because this is a business. Find me a business that doesn't make money. It's not a business.
Exactly. And then, I just want to say, Richie Ang, my good friend over here, says, ang galing ni Chinky Tan. Salute. Ako rin, saludo rin ako kay Chinky Tan. Can you pick up that comment over there, Clark? And we have as well from Dean Calieja, a good friend of mine. Sabi niya, great work, RJ and Chinky. May continue to inspire and guide your viewers on such important topics as entrepreneurship and personal finance. Happy to see so many people watching, not just from the Philippines, but from all over the country over here. And they're gaining a lot of information from you. Actually, practical tips because many people are at home right now. And they're also trying to figure out if they can be content or video or content creators just like you. Chiki, I hope you don't mind if I ask a bit more. How
Yeah.
do they generate income from content creation? Do they get it from sponsors? Do they get it from eventually getting enough viewers on YouTube and then monetizing it? Can you explain to them what are the different ways that how does a content creator create income for himself?
There are a lot of ways, but I believe the first thing that you need to create is create a following, a community, and a brand. That's the most important thing, because the reason why, again, it start with a few people because I started with only 1 to 2 followers also. So I built it up through the years and slowly. And after you built a community already, people start to believe in you because of the value that you are giving. And in the same time, FYI, during those times, there's still no monetization for YouTube. There's no monetization for
Mhm.
Facebook or any other social media. So I don't hope that you don't get me wrong. When we were starting, there's no money. It's just purely teaching and really advocacy during that time. But right now, since you know that YouTube really pays already for advertisement, that was a time that we were able to monetize. So number one, you can earn from Google AdSense, and
Mhm.
Facebook also turned on their advertisement. So once people watch and you will see those commercial, you also get paid for doing that. On top of that, another way that you can also monetize is by brands coming to you and telling you, can you help us promote also our products and create awareness, so you will get compensated. That's another way. And third, you can also create your own content and sell books or digital content, or if not seminar, that's also another way. Or you can even sell merchandise if you want to sell merchandise like shirts, cups, mugs, or anything that's related to your, if you are a fitness probably instructor, you can sell vitamins or
Mhm.
probably health equipments. So there are a lot of ways really to monetize. Again, I hope that you are not focused first on the money, but focus first on building your, again, the target market. Just like what I mentioned a moment ago, know your strength, know your target market, and know their problem. You start with that, and I do believe as you start with that and you create a following, everything then will follow.
Agree with you. And I want to go back again to another thing that you said in the program, which is that you've got to have multiple sources of income. Me, because I can intuitively appreciate that as a serial entrepreneur. Because for me, it's like saying, uh, sometimes I'm a professional host and speaker like you, and there's income generated from there, but it's not. Sometimes it's not as much as you want it to be a regular source of profession. Sometimes it's not, right? Because it's
Mm-hmm,
per
mm-hmm.
engagement. Then I also have my markets, di ba? Which I run, my open air markets. Sometimes one business makes money and it subsidizes the other business para tuloy-tuloy lang yung
Exactly.
negosyo, right? Tell us a bit
Exactly.
more. That's my experience. That's why I keep on telling people, sometimes my profession finances my business, which people don't, or I use that to invest in growing the business because that's just
Mm.
that's just how it's like for me in my personal ecosystem of doing things. But for others out there, how do you propose to them what are good ways to get multiple sources of income? How do they do it now? One is their day job. Next, they just invest somewhere else. They put up a franchise. What is your sort of like best practice when you want people to do multiple sources of income?
I again, number one, I do believe in order for you to create a multiple source of income, you must first start with one. Most of the people start with their job and their job so that you can get a regular pay. And the good thing about this, okay, I always tell people having your job can pay your bills. It may be enough, or it might be enough. However, if you want to build your dreams, it's what you do from 6 p.m. up to 12 midnight.
Mhm.
6 p.m. to 12 midnight, that will build your dreams. So again, keep your job so that you won't be stressed out in terms of paying your bills and probably your amortization. But if you want really to have extra income, that's the reason why you need to be open. And specifically in these times, RJ, I will really encourage people, when you want to start up, I hope you start up with number one, zero capex or low capex and low opex, or zero opex as much as possible. Why? Because right nowadays it's kind of risky. Okay, the cases are going down again, but we may never know if there's a new variant. What if you're committed again to a place, to a mall, and you have to pay capex for the stall, for the equipment, and all of a sudden, uh, again, you have to close shop because of the quarantine procedure, and
Mhm,
then you have
mhm.
to pay your monthly. So it's too risky. That's the reason why I encourage people now, if you want to start something, number one, sell your own skills. Know what you're good at. If you're good in photography, probably can do some photography and shooting products. If you're good in video editing, sell your profession, or probably you're good in services like becoming a virtual assistant. There are a ton of opportunities out there. That's number one. Number two, I highly recommend RJ, which is really good at, you're good at also, get involved in sales. Dahil nga, yun nga sinasabi, ang puhunan mo lang dito ay laway. Laway
Mhm,
lang
mhm,
puhunan mo. Ang kagandahan sa sales kasi, once na wala kang benta sa real estate, wala kang benta sa insurance, wala kang lugi. Wala kang
mhm.
OPEX, wala kang CAPEX. Di ba? But once you sell, you will earn a lot of what? Of money. And the foundation of all business is selling. That's the reason why there are a lot of people, ay, naku, nahiya ako magbenta. Ay, kung nahiya ka magbenta, araw-araw nagbebenta ka na hindi mo napapansin. Even if you're an employee right now, you are selling yourself. The moment you go to the HR will ask you, why should we hire you? Ano sagot nyo? Ano sagot nyo? 'Di ba? Eh, sir, wala kasi ako kakwenta-kwenta, eh. As a matter of fact, tamad ako, eh. Kaya dapat i-hire niyo ako. You won't say that. What will you say? I'm hardworking. I'm willing to learn. I will do whatever it takes. What are you doing? You are selling yourself. So it's very important na importante sa sales talaga. Ito lang. Number one, do you believe in the product? Who is the product? Number one product is you. Do you believe in yourself? That's number one. Number two, do you believe in the company, in the business, in the industry that you are representing? I do believe always that you must be a product of the product before you can endorse the product. How can you say that the product is good if you haven't tried it yourself? And third, all you need to do is just share. 'Di ba? Parang sa insurance. I've sold insurance also before. And then people ask, don't you feel parang any objection na nare-reject ka, do you feel ano? Sabi ko, I will not convince people to buy insurance. Ha? Bakit? Why will I convince you? 'Di ba kung ayaw mo? Ko-convince lang kita pag ako ang beneficiary ng insurance mo. Kung mamatay ka, akong kukuha ng plano mo, akong kukuha ng mga milyones, iko-convince kita. Ang makikinabang hindi ako, ang makikinabang yung mahal mo sa buhay, yung pamilya mo. If you don't see value and if you do not put priority in this, I will not convince you. It's not my loss. It's yours.
Yes, yes.
Nagigets nyo ba? That's the reason why, parang sa ginagawa ko ngayon, like for example, why do I write books? Ang hirap kasi mag-explain na paulit-ulit. 'Di ba? Parang nasa lamay, tatanungin ka, ano nangyari? 'Di ba? Pag may bumisita sa
Oh.
iyo, pag namatayan ka, uulitin mo from start to finish. Tapos may pangalawa kayo, uulitin mo ulit. Nakakapagod na 'to. So sinabi ko, ay ido-document ko na lang 'to. Pag tinanong paano, sige basahin mo na lang sa libro ko. Panoorin mo na lang sa YouTube. So, yun nga, yun nga, parang lahat ng negosyo na ini-start up ko, no? FYI, just to give you one more idea, no? Like my books, walang puhunan din yan. I started to write it, and I talked to the printers, and the printers gave me 60 days credit. 60 days. So, anong ginagawa ko? Nagma-market na ako, nagbebenta na ako, I get the cash prior to the 60 days. So, binabayaran ko na prior to the 60 days. Nagigets mo? Kaya nga, mga friendship, no, mga nakikinig kay RJ right now, don't give me an excuse that you cannot start anything. One philosophy that I've learned in life is kung gusto, gagawa ng paraan. Kung ayaw, maraming dahilan. I rest my case.
Si Rika Herrada saying over here, this podcast is so full of valuable wisdom from their experiences. Hope everyone is benefiting from this podcast streaming. Maraming salamat, Rika. And I just wanted to add, Chinkee, because I also give talks for insurance just like you, di ba? And this one thing I learned. You said it's not your law, it's not their law, it's not your loss, it's their loss, di ba?
Tama.
Here's a nice way also that I've learned from the people who are part of yung $1 Million Roundtable Club. Alam mo yan, di ba? Yung nakakabenta ng $1 million worth of policies.
Yes.
And I had a chance to meet them and moderate their forum one time. And I was so impressed because sabi ko, wow, what must be the magic words that come out of their mouth para mabenta nila lahat, di ba? And I spoke to them and I asked them, sabi ko, may gayuma ka ba? May magic potion ka ba or magic words? And they tell me, what, RJ, even up to now, people continue to reject us. But it depends on you what you think of that rejection. Kasi for me, when somebody says to me, I don't like the policy, I don't think it's my loss. I think it's their loss. I'm giving them something that's good for them at ayaw nila tanggapin. Hindi ako talo, sila yung talo. But what they've learned from that is this one. I've learned another way that people reject me so that I now have a mental inventory of how to reply naman properly when I come across the same situation again, di ba?
Exactly.
And that's really that's your school of hard knocks for you, di ba, Chinkee? That's exactly what you were talking about when it comes to school of hard knocks.
Galing-galing talaga. Kaya nga I'm so excited.
And I want to go right now. I guess this is really a great, and I want to talk to Chinkee a bit more. So I'm going to go a bit more into his entrepreneurial story, if you don't mind, Chinkee, so we can move again forward. And we often tell people that your irritations lead to your inspiration, diba? Or you're
Mm,
solving unmet needs or opportunities. And si
mm,
Chinky, how did you come across this unmet need? Because this is the traditional thinking. Why can Chinky teach me this one? He is not a certified financial analyst, or he's not
mm,
a graduate of school, but he's teaching
mm,
me finance, diba? I mean, to
mm.
other people, they might think, "Oh, what is his right, diba?" But
Tama.
so, what was this? What brought you into this world? Because guys, me and Chinky, we've traveled together to talk in Davao. Ang dami namin kwentuhan dyan, and I'm so inspired. I was hoping he could also share his own personal stories with you, and I hope you're also inspired by what I learned from Chinky.
Yeah, I can still remember way back when I was age 12 when my father business collapsed. For 3 years, he was so depressed. So during those times, it was the hardest moments of our lives. And I can still recall when collectors will come to our house and humiliate my father in front of our neighbors. And I was so helpless during that time. And then whenever I go to school, there was discrimination. Yung mga mayaman magkasama, middle class magkasama, hirap magkasama. And then ito yung pinaka probably yung clincher eh. The one that broke the camel's back is when I felt also discrimination from our own relatives. Whenever there's reunion, yung mga wala kayong huling kakain, tapos yung mga meron silang unang kakain. Parang I
Wow.
felt so much pain and injustice. And I told myself at young age of 12, I hate being poor because there's less options, a lot of disadvantages. People look at you differently, treated you differently. And I told myself that I want to become a millionaire before I reach the age of 35. That's the reason why at the young age of 12, I started to be in sales. First venture, I sold toilet papers. And I was helping my mom to she sold wholesale and I sold retail. And when I was my first venture in selling, this is what I've discovered. People you expect to buy will
Mhm.
never buy, and people you least expect to buy, they're the ones supporting and buying from you. So that's the reason why I've learned from a very young age that I should never prejudge anyone. I just need to be consistent and just talk to people. And aside from that, one thing that I also experience is whenever you're doing something great, you have a clear vision in your life, there's a tendency that people want to pull you down because miserable people want to make other people feel miserable. And people who cannot make it in life will also want to tell you why you cannot make it in life. So instead of being discouraged, I use those as an inspiration. And the best revenge is to create success. From toilet paper, I sold pants, I sold shoes, I sold shirts. To cut the long story short, I hit my first million when I was, I think, 27 during that time. And let me tell you this, people who are listening to this podcast, the first million was the hardest, but the next ones are easy. And RJ knows this. Why? Because during those time you didn't know better. That's the reason why
Mhm.
you're having a hard time. But when you learn the process, that's the reason why I want to encourage all the listeners right now. Do not focus on the result, but you focus on the process. Do this despite the process of creating your success. Because a lot of people want to eat the cake, but only a few people want to learn the process of baking a cake. If you finish the cake, you need more money to buy cakes. But if you know how to bake a cake, you will never run out of cakes. A lot of people want to become a millionaire. They want to become rich. They want to become successful. But only a few people are willing to learn and are willing to pay the price of becoming one. And let me tell you this, there's no such thing as a get rich quick scheme. There's no such thing you invest only in cryptocurrency and you become rich one day. You invest in NFT, you become rich in one day. Yes, you might have a jackpot one day, but you can never repeat it because you don't know the process. So I just want to encourage you. Again, if you're going through tough times and challenges right now, these tough times and challenges are not stumbling blocks in your life, but they are actually stepping stone to what you want to reach in life.
Tama. Exactly. It's what we would term the growth mindset, di ba? These are not, hindi to hadlang sa buhay mo, but rather these are points of learning for you, di ba? And that's really how you have to take, that's how you have to look at it, di ba? I mean, I failed in business many times. You failed in business many times. If we thought that was it, that was it. But for us, it's like, okay, what did we learn from, kahit masakit, what did we learn from this to move forward? And I think that's key. And Chiki, just wanted to ask, why finance? I mean, people might say, what is your ano ba yung inyong karapatan? Anong key mo para maging finance coach or finance mentor?
Simple lang naman eh. Parang for me, I'm not really telling people na, okay, I'm not teaching about economics and everything. Simple lang naman ako. I'm just teaching people how to save. Mahirap ba? Kasi ang point lang, hindi ko naman sinasabi, oh, sige, mag-invest ka dito, yayaman ka. Ang simple lang naman eh. Kaya nga I have an iponaryo movement. I call them iponaryo. Because ang nakikita ko, dapat darating ang panahon, bawat Pilipino maging iponaryo. Kasi paano ka magnenegosyo kung wala kang ipon? Paano ka makakabayad sa utang pag wala kang ipon? Paano ka magi-invest pag wala kang ipon? Ang foundation ng lahat is ipon. Agree? So I just
Agree.
want to, again, that's the reason why I write a lot of materials. Like for example, itong piso planner na ito. It teaches them the basic of savings and budgeting. Ito, budget. Susulat mo lang. Siguro hindi naman rocket scientist. Tinuro naman ng lola natin, di ba? Na magsulat ng gastusin. Ayan. Pagkatapos, di ba, unahin muna ang pag-iipon. Mahirap unahin ang pag-iipon. Kung ano matira, doon ka gumastos. So this is
That's
our
right.
simple formula. And then, ang ginawa ko lang, linagyan ko lang ng system. Tapos lahat ng mga important na due date, di ba? Due date. Tubig, kuryente, credit card so that you won't miss on it. And then, one thing I've learned also, people wants gamification. So, ginemify namin ang pag-iipon. We have the 60,000 ipon challenge. So, first, you start with 20 pesos. Lahat ng 20, pag sinukli sa iyo, hindi iyo, ilalagay mo sa ipon mo. Pag napuno na, you go to 50, you go to 100. In 1 year, pag nabuo mo tong challenge na ito, may 60,000 ka.
Interesting.
So, in other words, I don't think you need an MBA to teach this. Diba? Anyone can do it. Pero what I basically did is I curated it. I made it simple for people to understand. And then, again, at the end of the day, this, RJ, it's not what you say, it's how you say it. So, I wrote a book called Diary of a Pulubi, Mindsets of a Person Who's Broke. Diba, nandito na yung shopping now, pulubi later, travel now, pulubi later, kape-kape now, pulubi later, milk tea now, pulubi later. So it strikes a chord on the target market which I want to reach. So whenever they read, nababasa nila, natatawa sila, tinatamaan sila, parang sinabi, ako to. So again, these are the materials that I've written. Again, the reason why I wrote it, paulit-ulit na lang to. 'Di ba? How to budget, how to make ipon, utang. And it's so simple, bite size. Kaya nga parang sinasabi, FYI, I sold millions of copies of these books already. And people say, how can you be able to sell 1 million copies? Sinabi ko, I don't know. People just like the book, like to read this book. Kaya 'yan ang ginagawa namin.
And having said that, people are actually asking here right now in the comment box, si Fe Makantan, saan po makakabili ng book yung may ipon challenge list, and to how to buy the other books as well. Clark, if they're here right now, baka you can let us know right now as Chinkee announces it, please post it there on the, can you please put the text over there as well? Where can they order your books from, Chinkee?
Yeah, I just like to, especially for all your followers right now, I would like to make an irresistible offer tonight, okay? Ito yung gagawin natin. Since you asked, you want this piso planner, when you order this piso planner, these 4 books that I'm holding, I'm gonna give this to you guys as a gift for free.
Wow!
So in other words, buy 1, get 4. Oo.
Sulit
If you're
naman.
listening,
Super sulit.
if you're listening to this podcast right now, again, order this. How much is this? It's only 499, but you get 4 of my books for free. Ang value ng books na ito, 600. That's 150 each. I will give this to you for free. So for people who wants to order, all you need to do before the end of the show or after the end of the show, Instagram me, DM me at Chinkitan and type piso. My Chinkitan is my handle at Instagram. DM me and type piso and I will send you the link. As simple as that.
Sige, Clark. So Clark, if you can type it out, no? So again, you can go to Instagram, go to Chinkitan on Instagram, DM him and send him the word piso. So he will know that you want to get the piso planner for 499 pesos and you get 4 books for free.
Books.
And sabi na dito, may tanong lang dito kay Mitch Garces Pascual, may ebook ka ba, Sir Chinkee?
Yes, may ebook din. I will also send you the link of the ebooks.
Okay, great. So all you have to do after this one, just go on IG and contact Chinky Tan on IG, then put their piso and tell him how much you enjoyed as well his current presentation here. Yeah, so Fritzy, everybody else here, want to order, please, again, go visit the Chinky Tan on IG. Dami nang tatanong na dito, Chinky. Now, having said that, earlier on, you were talking about other things that people are investing in right now, yung hot ngayon, di ba? Um, Cryptocurrency, NFT, non-fungible tokens, and maybe there are other things as well that people might want to invest in. But you also reminded us, Chinky, that so if you don't understand what you're investing in, it might not be a good investment. Having
Mhm.
said that, let's move a bit forward here right now and talk about where should people start. What are the good investment opportunities or business opportunities that you can see emerging during this new normal? And how should they start off? I know that you give talks also on cryptocurrency or you give talks on these other things. Maybe you could just give us a preview of how they can start off and how they can continue so that they are making responsible investments.
Yes, let's talk about business first. No, I coined a name called Patok, Patok. Patok stands for PA, pagkain. Food definitely is on top of the list. T, technology, because everything's online right now. And then O stands for online. Make sure that your business is online. Online
Mhm.
business, online services, everything that's doing online, it's really doing good. And then K, oo. When you say K, kalusugan because of health, 'di ba? We're in a pandemic. And syempre kagandahan, beauty. And syempre kapayatan, anything that deals with lose weight, health and wellness. So you just go along that line yung patok, pagkain, technology, online, kagandahan, kalusugan, 'di ba kapayatan, you will never go wrong. And then likewise on the investment on the passive investment side, it's very important. There are a lot of choices: stock market, mutual fund, UITF, MP2, 'di ba? Cryptocurrency, NFTs. Ito lang po ang request ko. Parang if you ask me what's the best form of investment, it's just like you asking me, Chinky, ano yung pinakamagandang sasakyan? Toyota, Mitsubishi, or Honda? Alam mo, dapat tanong ko sa iyo, ang first na tanong ko sa iyo, marunong ka ba mag-drive? Bakit? Even if I endorse to you the best brand of the car, but if you don't know how to drive the car, what will happen to the car? You will damage the car. You might bump someone, and then you might also probably hurt yourself. And that's what happens to most people who has a little amount of money or save his lifetime savings and went to investment na hindi alam kung paano mag-drive, or instead of making money, they lose money. So the first thing I really recommend is educate yourself first before you even invest.
Okay. Now, Chinky, before everything else, no, ang dami ng gustong, people's minds are exploding right now. If they want to follow you more, if they want to follow more of your learnings, where can they go right now to listen to you?
Definitely, at first I just like to thank RJ for granting me this opportunity. Please also do follow me at my podcast out here at PNA. And it's called Chink Positive. That's number one. And you can go also follow me at my Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok channel. Also the same name, Chinkitan or Chink Positive. And definitely every Monday to Friday we have a show with Tintin Babaw at 1 p.h. And Radyo 5, it's called Magbudget Tayo. Every Sunday, I have also a show called Chink Positive for over 12 years already at Radyo 5 and also 1 PH. Please also do follow me.
And again, that's what I call about. That's what we call hustle, mga kaibigan, and a dedication to his career. And for those listening to us here right now, the reason I'm having Chinky over here is because he made me a special guest for his upcoming seminar on February 19 called Business for Everyone. And in that seminar, I'm together with my business partner and my co-owner of Mercato Central, Jose Jomag Magsaysay Potato Corn, who just sold it recently to Shakey's. That's
Wow!
a really great, diba? He sold potato corn to Chinkee. So that's a big deal.
Grabe,
Uh,
grabe.
yeah, so and Steve C, we've also had him on the show. But if you listen to Steve C's story, fantastic how he grew great deals
Great
e-commerce
deals.
to that's like you said, it's the next Alibaba here in the country. So Chinkee, a
Mm.
bit more details na lang of how they can register to listen to Business for Everyone and what they can expect also.
Yeah, on Saturday that will be at 2 p.m., 7 p.m. The good thing is this is via Facebook private group. And just in case you missed it, there's a 30 days replay. You can watch it over and over again. And there's too much information. Definitely, you cannot really do it in one sitting. So that's the reason why we gave a 30 days replay. And the investment for you to get started is only very affordable. As a matter of fact, to attend this type of event, normally you have to pay thousands of pesos. But right now, we price it very affordable at only 999 pesos, 999 to just to join this event. Again, to join this event, all you need to, again, Instagram me, send me an Instagram message at Chinkitan, and then type business. Type business, BUSINESS, and I will send you the link so that you can be part of this. And for those people who are going to attend, I'm also offering a money back guarantee. Let's say after the event itself, you don't find any value. I don't think they're teaching us the right things. We didn't get any new thing from this event. We're willing to refund to you your money. So again, don't miss this event. This may be a life changing event for you.
Fantastic. So again, Clark, let's flash again on screen the IG ni Chinky Tan. This Chinky Tan, Chinkee Tan on IG. Send him a direct message. There's two things you can do there. You can send piso, PISO, if you want to get his book, 499 pesos plus four extra books. And then if you want to be able to participate in Business for Everyone this coming January 19, please type in the word business again, 999 for what's going to be priceless knowledge from really great entrepreneurs. I'm so proud to be with. Chinkee, I wish we could have you longer. I need you. I know it also it's been a long day for you speaking. I know it's like your adrenaline will drop right after this one. But before that, Chinkee, can you share any last words or thoughts that you want to share with the people listening here right now as they embark on their own entrepreneurial career?
Yeah, I just want to encourage you guys. One thing that you need to learn how to overcome is overcome fear. The one that's really stopping you really from reaching and then trying and really maximizing your potential is your fear of failure, your fear of rejection, the fear of the unknown, fear of what other people might say. But you know what? One thing that I've learned from the word called fear, just like the late Zig Ziglar made mention, it's called false evidence appearing real. Let me repeat. It's called false evidence appearing real. Most of the fear that we are experiencing are only man-made. We created it, but actually it's not real. And let me tell you this truth. 90% of the fear that we expect in life will never come into pass. To prove my point, have you ever experienced a major challenge in your life in the past? And during those moments, you felt that there was no more hope. There was no way out. The mere fact you're still watching and listening to this, you're still alive and you're still kicking, it will say you still have hope. So I just want to encourage you, never be afraid. The one thing that you should be afraid of is not trying. Why? Because I have seen many people who failed in life not because they tried, but because they never started.
Yeah, no fear. That's my biggest lesson from Chinky Tan. And I'll see you guys together with Chinky Tan, Joe Mag, Steve C, and Berwin Maley on Business for Everyone this coming Feb 19. Again, one last plug. Go to IG of Chinky Tan, DM. On his DM, please send the word business. We will see you guys there this coming Saturday. Again, maraming salamat, Chinky Tan. Maraming salamat to the team of Chinky Tan. Thank you to everybody for listening from all over the world. May Korea, may Malaysia, may Saudi Arabia, all listening to our podcast here tonight. We will see you there again. Thank you, Chinkee. Thanks so much. I'll see you guys again next Thursday for my next podcast. God bless everybody. Take care. Have a great night. Chinkee, stay around.
Thank you.